So you just got denied for a business insurance claim. There are a couple of things that we can do to mitigate the problem and to give you an appeal and potentially get your insurance claim approved. And there are a couple of things that we can do to prevent this issue from happening going forward. So let's get right into the meat of the video. I know this is a very serious issue, so I'm not going to make any jokes like I usually do. Getting right into it, what to do if your insurance claim is denied. Well, first thing we want to do is don't panic. We can turn our denial into a win for our business, and I will show you how to do that in just a second here. So what are you going to learn in this video? Well, first of all, you're going to learn the number one mistake businesses make after a denial, and this mistake will pretty much guarantee that you're going to lose your claim for good. So the first thing that you want to do when you receive a denial letter is to review the policy and the denial letter in detail. So you're going to want to understand any kind of coverage gaps that you may have had that caused this denial in the first place, or maybe any misunderstandings between you and the insurance company. You want to make sure that the denial reason actually makes sense in terms of the actual policy terms that you have. Is it due to a coverage gap, an exclusion, or some kind of mistake? If you should have been covered for something in terms of what was written on your policy and you were not, then you definitely have a simple grounds for appeal. But if there was an exclusion, like let's say you were a plumber and you're not supposed to install high pressure boilers in terms of what is written on your policy, and you still install the high pressure boilers anyway, and your claim has something to do with that installation of those high pressure boilers, then you probably do not have a means to appeal this denial. But let's say that based on reviewing your policy documents and the denial letter, you determined that your claim should have been approved. Well, the second thing you're going to want to do in that case is gather additional documentation like invoices, photos, proof of compliance. And by the way, you guys should have a broker, and if you do, that broker should be working with you proactively on all of these different steps to help you in appealing that denial. And if you feel that your broker is not really helping you throughout this situation and you got your claim denied, and that they could have done things before the policy was written to prevent this claim because you had told them certain things that you do in your business and they did not include those items in your policy, well then it's probably time for you to change your broker, and that's where we come in. My name is Alex Bongiev, and if you want to talk to me, then you should book a call at quotes.commercialinsurance.io/total risk protocol, and let's see if we can help you out. The next thing we're going to want to do is really dig deep and understand the reason for the denial. Here are some of the reasons that your claim could have been denied. It could have been due to an exclusion, just like I told you with the high pressure boiler example. It could have been that your policy limit was reached, and then in that case, there's really nothing you can do about it. And with a late filing, you still actually have an opportunity to appeal, because what you can do is you can ask for leniency with a valid explanation. If you have a very good broker, they would be able to help you come up with a valid reason and a valid explanation to go to the underwriters at the carriers to help you prove that your claim is valid and that there is a valid explanation for why your filing was late. But of course, going forward, if you ever have a claim that you need to file, you better do it as soon as possible. The next thing that you want to do is negotiate with your insurer. You and your broker have to get creative and not just take no for an answer. You're paying for your insurance policy and you have to fight in order to get that insurance claim approved. Otherwise, what was the point of paying insurance in the first place? You want that insurance to cover you on a rainy day. I'm going to share a story of you guys of how one of my clients got into a very sticky situation with an insurance claim denial and how I was able to help him get that insurance denial appealed. So my client is a retail clothing store based out of Texas. One night they had a pipe burst in their ceiling and it caused extreme water damage to their property and also a lot of their inventory. And the insurer had this ridiculous argument that the damage was caused by the pipe because of regular wear and tear and that the pipes should have been changed out. And for that reason, that claim was not covered under the policy. So after that happened, we got help immediately and we hired a licensed plumber to look at the situation. So after the plumber's investigation, we got a plumber's report that showed us a very critical piece of evidence that helped us overturn that denial. Since the retail store was fairly new, they had no idea when the last time the pipes were changed. But the report showed that the pipes were relatively new. They were installed only 6 years prior. And the material of those pipes were supposed to last decades under normal conditions. But what happened was the pipes ended up bursting due to an unexpected increase in water pressure. And this most likely happened due to a construction site that was happening nearby that interrupted the municipal water supply. And on top of that, the plumber took pictures that showed that there were no signs of cracks, corrosion, or any kind of wear and tear on those pipes from regular use. And that was it. After the client was able to spend that little bit of money on that plumber and their investigation, we were able to get that denial overturned, and it saved the company from going under. Because obviously the claim is very expensive and the insurance company wants to do everything they can not to pay it. But if the business owner never got that amount paid, then they would have no inventory left and they would have to go out of pocket. They would probably just shut down their doors. So negotiating with the insurer and not taking no for an answer and really being on top of things and proactive with yourself and your broker can get your appeal approved. And the last thing that you're going to want to do is rely on a very strong and proactive broker. A good broker, just like I told you in the previous example, knows how to speak to a carrier in their language and how to push back when the time is right. And here's a practical tip. If you have a broker who is not proactive and does not help you fight claim denials when they happen, then you probably need to change your broker. And a step further than that is you should probably have a broker that is very proactive before claims even happen. And what does that kind of proactive broker look like? Well, a broker that does that is one that checks your policy annually and makes sure that there are no exclusions that relate to any of the business activities that you have. So for example, if you're a plumber and you do high pressure boiler installations, well then you want to find an insurance carrier that will actually cover you for that, because there are not that many that do. A lazy and non-proactive broker that just wants to sell you as fast as possible won't really care about these minute detailed business activities that you do, but they are very important. Another thing a proactive broker is supposed to do is to look over any potential coverage gaps that you may have over time, because as your business grows, you may have new equipment that you need to cover. You may have new vehicles that you need to cover. And that broker needs to be able to go over all those things with you every single year to make sure that you're properly being covered. So let's go over a summary on what to do if your claim is denied. 1 is you're going to review your policy and denial letter for details. 2 is you're going to gather documentation that's going to help you fight that insurance denial. 3 is you want to understand the reason for that insurance denial in the first place. 4 is negotiate with the insurer based on that documentation that you gathered and any other creative solutions that you may come up with, like I was able to with my client for their retail store. And then 5 is you want to lean on a strong broker. If anything, this is like a chicken before the egg type of thing. You want the strong broker before you ever get into an insurance policy in the first place. If your broker is weak and the insurance policy is not written correctly in the first place, you're going to get more denials that are not able to be appealed because the policy was not written correctly in the first place. So leaning on a strong broker is extremely important. And bonus tip is file the claims as fast as possible. Late filings make denials more likely. You don't want to have to give some kind of excuse as to why you filed late. Just file the claim on time. And if you want a broker that fights for you when you have denials, gets your policy correctly written in the first place, and reviews your policy with you annually, then go to quotes.commercialinsurance.io/total risk protocol and book a call with me so that we can go over your policies together. I really hope that you guys got a lot of value out of this video and you can turn that denial around. Thank you for watching.